Welcome to Lavanya's computer classes. In this video, I will explain what is time and space complexity of an algorithm. So, what is the meaning of time and space complexity? First, I'll go for time complexity. So, what is time complexity? Time complexity means what is time complex? Time complexity means for running any algorithm, time complexity of an algorithm is the total amount of time required by an algorithm to complete its execution. That means you know what is an algorithm. What is an algorithm? Algorithm means it is a step-by-step procedure to solve a problem. So it is a step-by-step procedure to solve a problem. So how much time it required for executing these steps, that is called as time complexity. For running an algorithm, for executing any program, how much time is required for executing, that is called as time complexity. Now I will explain time complexity with some examples. So you know already algorithm means step-by-step procedure. Time complexity means how much time it required. For example, I will take one simple example like t of n equal to 2n square plus 3n plus 1. For executing this line, how much time we require, time complexity of this one. So for finding this time complexity of this line, first removing all drop lower order elements, lower order terms. So what is the lower order term? That is 3n plus 1. So just removing 3n plus 1. After the second one is drop all the constant multipliers. Second one is drop all the constant multipliers. So in this, which one is the constant multiplier? That is 2. 2n square, in this constant is 2. So removing that one also. So which term is left after removing the two cases means only n square is there. So for executing this line, what are the time, how much time complexity we need, means that is big O of n square. So that is the time complexity of this line, big O of n square. Next I will explain what is the time complexity for simple loop. Time complexity of a simple loop. For example, for I equal to 1, I less than or equals to n, I plus plus for loop. In this I want to execute only one line, that is x equal to y plus z, then close that loop. So how much time is required for executing this line for finding, that is called as time complexity. So inside the loop only one line is there, that line is executed constant number of times. So that line is taking as constant means C, means for executing that lines we need C. And loop, we go for loop. This loop, how many times the loop is repeated, that is depending upon the n. So what is the n? That number of times the loop is repeated. So how much time is required for executing this line means that is called as n times. So for executing the entire statement in this example, how much time we require means for loop n times, for constant c. So c into n. So what is the time complexity of this mean? That is called as big O of n. So that is the time complexity of any simple loop. Constant time and for loop n times. So big O of n is the time complexity for any executing simple loop. Now we will explain nested loop time complexity. If the program contains any nested loop, what is the time complexity? How much time is taking for executing the nested loop? Nested loop means one loop contains another loop. So first I will take first loop for I equal to 1. I less than or equals to n, I plus plus. This is the outer loop. Inside I will write one more loop, that is for j equal to 1, j less than or equals to n, j plus plus. This is the inner loop. Then I will execute one line, that is x equal to y plus z. So for this, how much time we require for executing these lines? Now I will tell you. So this is called as inner loop, j is called as inner loop, I is called as outer loop. That's why it is called as nested loop. Nested loop means one loop contains another loop. So for x is equal to y plus z, how much time is executing this line means constant time. For inner loop, how many times the inner loop is executed means that is also depending upon the n times. How many times the outer loop is executed means that is also depending upon n. So that is also n times in this example. Okay, so totally how much time we require means c into constant. For inner loop n into outer loop n, c into n into n. N into n is n square. So c into n square. So how much time complex we require means that is big O of n square. For executing nested loop, we need O of n square, that is the time complexity of nested loop. Now I will explain space complexity. So what is the space complexity? Space complexity of an algorithm means time complexity of an algorithm is the total amount of space or memory required by an algorithm for completion of its execution. It's called as space complexity. How much memory we require? So I will explain with one simple example. Void main int a, b, c, z, 4 variables, z equal to a plus b plus c, return z. Close the program. So how much memory we require for this simple example program? That is called as space complexity. So how many variables are there in this example? 4 variables. A, B, C, Z. All are integer variables. So some processor for integer occupies 2 bytes and some are integer occupies 4 bytes. For example, I will take in this example integer occupies 2 bytes. So 4 variables are there. All 4 variables are integer variables. So 2 bytes of memory is required. So 4 into 2, 8 bytes of memory is required. 8 bytes of space we require for this example. For example, integer occupies 4 bytes means how much memory we require? 4 into 4. 16 bytes of space we require for storing these variables. So this is called as space complexity. How much memory we need it. Now we'll explain with one more example. For time complexity, space complexity. Now I am using some simple loop statements. For simple loop statements, how much space we need? For I equal to 1, void main int n comma I comma sum equal to 0, 3 variables. Scanf percentage d ampersand n, this program is in C language. Into a of 1, array declaration. For I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, simple loop. Then I will read array elements, scanf percentage d ampersand a of I. Then sum equal to sum plus a of I. That means sum of all the elements in the array. This is the program for sum of all the elements in the array. After loop is completed, just I want to print the values, printf sum. So this is the program. For this program, how much space we require. Now finding how much space we require. So how many variables are there in this example? 3 variables, n, I, sum. So 3 variables, all are integer data type. So if it is occupies 4 bytes means how much memory we require? 3 into 4, 12 bytes of memory is required for the 3 variables. After that, here we are using simple loop statement. The loop is repeated, executedly repeated n times depending upon the n times. So we need how much memory we require means n loops of memory we require. All n are belongs to 4 bytes of memory is occupied means 4 into n, 4 n bytes of memory is required for storing these loop elements. So for storing these loop elements we need 4 n bytes. For storing these normal or ordinary variables we need 12 bytes. So how much total space requirements? 4n plus 12 bytes of memory we require. N is depending upon the values. So this much space or memory we required for executing this program. So that is called as space complexity. So this is the concept of time complexity and space complexity for an algorithm. Thank you for watching my video. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel, share it, like it, and watch my videos continuously. Thank you.